definitely very important component of this whole filmmaking process is how you market them, because normally we make films for an audience. It's important for us to make all the best efforts to reach out to the audience. So marketing and publicity, promotions do play a very important role, and we hope that we'll get to learn a lot from each other from the panel today. It's going to be a very open sort of a discussion. If in case at any point any one of you have questions, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll probably give you a few minutes to ask a question, and can keep it interactive that way. I hope it works for you guys as well. So now coming to Film Marketing Club, let me first probably start with Prima, because in a sort of a lighter vein, you have made 3 films now, and your career has sort of grown over these 3 films. Especially, you have a very distinctive style of filmmaking where you lead the project, and you source the story, you work on it, you get the financing, you're also acting as the producer. So, as the producer on the film, of all your films, how do you look at marketing your films? What you would consider as your learning curve over the 3 films, based on your experience of traveling with the films across the world, also doing the Oscar campaign. But maybe as a filmmaker, you started off with the wish of only making the film, and in the course of making the film, you also had to sort of engage yourself with the marketing of the film. Your thoughts on it, and what have you learned over the years, and how has the experience been?
Thank you. First, see, if we talk about India, then very few risk-taking producers are there who making independent films, and sometimes also feel like maybe director's vision sometimes when they starts in the initial stage, maybe they have similar thoughts, but later on I heard from my friends filmmakers that it changes also over the course of time. So what I have realized, that one thing I was sure from my friends, that to survive, because then I have to be a producer of my own films. I cannot survive as a director alone. It's very difficult in India. So that's the reason I decided to become producer. And also I started traveling a lot to understand the market. And then the missing part is like that our films are, it's not that from India lots of independent films are traveling. Every year Indian films are traveling to good festivals, top festivals. But what I felt is that extra effort is not there. First thing, they just, okay, film is selected, that's it, They don't do that extra efforts. And secondly, low promotion and marketing. That extra effort is like what I can see if my film was in Toronto, also was in Berlin. I am talking about this too because they are big festivals and they have mostly industry also. But I can see, even if it is a big production house film, they don't have much, like I see every day there are this variety, like Hollywood Reporter and many news is coming out every day, postering and so many other things. But even the countries, if German films, so this time I was in Toronto, so they are giving all the kit, like here every delegate is getting a kit, and you can see a German films booklet. So this kind of things are not there, what I feel, that, and that's the reason it's slowly, and we also don't have good sales agent. So our films, it's not that we are not making good films, but that low promotion and low marketing doesn't. And if I am making 3 films, I can make that. I am doing that at least hard work only to make the film. later on we don't have money to promote our films, and I don't know why the other also producers who probably they have money, uh, the same thing I have noticed, and I think we don't need so many things. Like when Billy Jackson selected for Oscar, like from India, then also what I felt like if Shoplifters is there from Cannes, they are like from 1 year they are really marketing their films, but our films are unknown. So I think we need to take small steps, and it is possible. That is what my, and also lots of like I'm talking a lot, but one more point I think like yes, that extra effort is very important. With me, what happened? I traveled. I tried to understand the market, and only what I have realized, only problem is we need good sales agent to market the film, and who understand the pain of filmmakers, their hard work, and also producers who understand, because sales agents, producers and directors, they cannot live like without each other, so they have to understand each other, respect and value, then only is possible, I think.
Thank you so much. It's very interesting what you said in terms of putting in that extra hard effort. So I guess one of the key learning things here is that as a filmmaker, making the film is not just enough. So you have to put in that extra effort to not only promote yourself as a filmmaker, but also promote your story, work in tandem with your partners such as producers, sales agents, and also cast and crew and all other people involved. Get them involved and just make sure that you push and try to take out as much word as possible. It's very interesting. I want to come to Zhu now. It's very interesting. Zhu is my senior in a way. She's a graduate of Busan Asian Film School last year, and I graduated this year. And one of the things we learn, especially in different markets, like also in India, like the focus is always on the negative cost. Basically, sorry, I'm using a technical term. Negative cost is the amount of money you need to make the film. So the print and advertising, the promotion part is not included in that budget. And normally what we always do is we are always trying to get the negative cost in place. Just raise enough money and get that into place. But most of the time we do tend to think that okay, let me first make the film, and then once it's done, then we will figure out the marketing budgets and we will figure out the monies. Your thoughts on it, especially in the context that you are producing an Indian film which is very close to our region, and it's almost like sisterly that way. So, your thoughts on, say, marketing an independent film, especially from an international perspective, like you are from China, your home market is China. How would you think of marketing a film like Mama in China vis-a-vis marketing the film in its domestic and regional market, which is actually, say, the northeast of India?
First of all, I want to say that I'm here not really to give my experience to share. I'm really here to learn from the experience, because for me, I also very new about I very agree with you when we talk about producing. We really care about the production money, just to make the films. We actually, I think, because of we kind of lack of these ideas about marketing for producers or even directors or this thing. So I think even for go to school, it's a really good experience for me to realize this kind of concept. So. So in terms of marketing in China, actually, I have to admit, for me, I also didn't do really good, but I have some, I think, like Rima also said, we need to, have the good contacts with the sales agent to reach out to people who are professional with us. So they might, for example, they will do the articles, contact the magazine people to, before you go to festivals, they create some kind of buzz for us. what I have experienced with Dominic, we had quite a struggle time in Myanmar because we really kind of very black with all the things. We just rushed because we kind of very excited to make films. So we do it with passion. I feel kind of lots of regrets are there. So for Rapture, for the next project we are doing, so we're trying to fix the things, the mistakes we did. Yeah.
It's interesting. What I wanted to know from you is like you coming from a different country, and where you're working with a filmmaker who's from a different country. Now, because there are two markets involved, would you be more comfortable in letting the filmmaker who's from the base market like drive the marketing campaign, because you'll need time, So how does it work out with Dominic?
So we both are very raw, For one hand, maybe we can find the professional force, but in this process, we also need to start to build the trust. It's very difficult for indie films to find the people who trust in us, So that takes time. And in the meanwhile, as independent filmmakers, we need to put our effort to, even it's a struggle. So let's accept that and put effort. Yes.
It's interesting, even Zhu said the same thing, which is getting the right people to push your film. So what Rima was talking about and she was talking about is the role of sales agent, especially from an independent film perspective. Now, traditionally in India and other parts of the world, if you're working with a studio, the studio will already have that marketing money budget included in it. So you are safe, And then of course you have the big commercial star power to push your film. But in case of smaller films, like what we generally make, what we tend to do is, like she said and Rima said, it's important to find the right partner. So sales agent are very important for independent films. Many people have this idea that sales agents are like vendors, they're service providers, but I mean all of us would beg to differ with that, because sales agents work as, in a way, they almost act like your co-producers, because they come with this background of consistently selling films to different buyers across the world. They do understand what works for certain kind of audiences, and because they have that grasp, and if they see that spark in your film, then they can really help push your film to different audiences. But it's also interesting that Rima was talking about lack of sales agent in India who focus on independent films. So, Jani, I wanted to ask both you and Rajni that in a way your film is in a different language, which is not the predominant language of the region. So in a way, it's even more sort of niche. One is, of course, you making the film as the filmmaker. And now, Jenny, your thoughts on how would you like to spread the word around the film?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having us here. See, filmmaking, okay, I'm not a filmmaker, but yes, marketing and brand development has been my forte for the last 20 years. Unfortunately, the independent films do have a short end of the stick because they go through multitudes of hardships. The reason being that independent films are made on low budgets with relatively unknown cast and star cast, and they rely on national, local, international film festival viewings to be noticed and to be, and then later the hype comes in when they win an award or two. Beyond the glitz and glamour of Bollywood and Hollywood, we do need independent filmmakers to portray the true artistic sentiment of cinema, because even though they are sometimes realistic, raw, emotional, and even disturbing. You need that substance to complete the film industry that unfortunately of late has got